What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Work for Hire podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Lowe.
The one and only Relly Love, baby.
We got the homeboy.
Yo, Javante Hargrove. How's it going?
Another
What's
one with
up,
the full
my boy?
government, bro. What's your nickname, bro? What's your alias, my boy?
Man, I ain't really got one, bro. I mean, you can call me Jay.
Alright.
Y'all prefer Vontae, but you know, everybody
Yeah.
from around the way call me Jay, so.
Give a brief little overview on Javante Hargrove, or just Jay Vontae, however you want to say it. Just,
Brief little overview. All right.
real quick,
Tell people
elevator
about
pitch
yourself,
yourself.
man.
Elevator pitch
man.
yourself, my boy.
Javante Hargrove, passionate soul, destined to be an actor, great man. The way I got the name was that, my mom wanted to make sure that I didn't become a junior. So yeah, she was like, nah, we're going to change that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it right there.
All right.
For sure. So I wanted to kick this episode off with a random story time.
All right, go ahead, man.
I'm not going to go too deep. It's not a crazy story, but it's just something that happened to me recently, right? So a few days ago, bruh, I was leaving. I was getting my hair done and I was leaving, right? So I'm on the way home. I'm about to get on the L train, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm about to just chill out, put my AirPods in and catch a vibe, right? So I'm waiting for the train to come and some random homie walks up to me and he's like, yo, is your at name Low Show? And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
My man famous out here in these streets.
Low
What
key.
you know?
So I'm like, yeah, that's me. What's up, bro? He was like, yo, I'm actually from the same place as you. I'm from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I know your homie Relly. He was like, yo, I go to VCU and stuff like that. And I do video too. I'm like, word, cool. So the L train pulls up. I'm like, bet, we're going to chop it up. So we sit down and we just start talking. And the conversation went to, he was asking me about like my move to New York. He was like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm here, I'm visiting. This is my first day out here.
Right.
And how did you do it? Like, what are you doing to make money out here? Why did you end up moving? When did you move? All these different questions. And it's a lot of stuff that I don't really think about anymore because I'm here. You feel me?
We've been here for a little bit now. So it's like, yeah, you're not really thinking about like, oh, I wonder how people like, sometimes in my personal opinion, sometimes some people didn't even know or still don't know to this day that I live in New York City, bro.
Word. That's crazy because you post all the time.
I post all the time and I've been here for 3
You
years
post
now.
literally every day.
3 years now, bro. And some people
Right.
will dead ass, well, obviously it's people that are not that close to me, but still it's just like, you should know, but yeah.
So like I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? What's one thing all three of us have in common? We came from a smaller city, which is Virginia, Richmond,
Well,
Virginia, or he from the country, from the
county,
cut.
you know.
You know what I'm saying?
County, bro.
But we all came out to New York to pursue our dreams. So I feel
Right.
like this episode should be about that. We should talk about where we came from, when we first had the idea that we wanted to move, why New York, and like how did we just end up here so we could help the people provide some value.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, let's start from the very beginning.
I love this.
Yeah.
We got to describe Virginia to the people that don't know.
All right.
So you got a different perspective from me and him. So let's start with your perspective, like Richmond, Chesterfield, like describe Virginia.
So we're from Richmond, Virginia, which is the capital of Virginia. And I'll have to say, like, as far as cities go, it's probably like on the smaller side of the city, but it's not super small to the point where like everyone knows each other, I would say. But like if you do anything in the creative field or anything in a very like niche field, you probably know majority of the people.
Yeah.
Like me, I was into fashion, so I knew majority of the people that was also into fashion in the city because it's small and it is kind of sort of a creative hub and it's been growing and it's been like, getting gentrified and getting all this new stuff and the city's been rebuilding and trying to build an art scene. So like it's cool in the terms of like trying to find your passion, find something that you want to like dive deep into and meet creative people and network because it's so easy to network there because everyone pretty much knows each other if you're into the same thing. So like with that being said, it's like it has a ceiling, I would say, because
Absolutely.
because it's a small city and there's like limited resources. Once you kind of like meet all the people you can and you feel like you've done all the stuff that the city has to offer you, you feel like you want bigger and better, at least in my opinion. And so like I just got to the point where I was just like, I felt like my chapter was coming to end and was over in Richmond, like kind of a little bit.
Hold up. We're not there yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I just felt the need, like, you're right.
You felt like you hit your ceiling.
Yeah, hit my ceiling. So Richmond, I would have to say, is a cool city to start off with if you want to endeavor in anything
Right.
that's small, creative, anything to do within the arts, even like entertainment and stuff, it has a pretty good like population or like demographic for that. But I feel like if you want to grow bigger than the city, you have to move out the city. But it's a great starting, like stepping stone city, of course, like great place.
I would agree. I feel like it's you always say this small pond, you know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
feel like, yo, there's a lot of creatives there. A lot
Yeah.
of dope artists, a lot of people that do dope stuff. But I feel like you said, there's a ceiling, but also the culture isn't really our own. I feel like Richmond is a big, like, I don't know if the word is boiling pot, where
Yeah,
like we
it is.
take from a lot of
Melting pot.
different influences.
Melting pot, yeah.
Melting pot.
Yeah.
That's what it is?
Yeah, melting
All right,
pot.
melting pot. I feel like we take from a lot of different places. Like we'll take from a New York, we'll take from Atlanta, we'll take from a LA, and we just make it our own because we have so many different styles, but it's not really unique to us. You know how like people
True.
say like, oh, there's this DMV sound when it comes to rap, or there's a LA West Coast sound when it comes to rap. Like Virginia don't really got a sound for real. It's more so like,
I would have to say in terms of Richmond doesn't have a sound, but VA, I feel like the one thing we do have is talented musicians. Because if you think of like
no,
all
that's not what
talent-
I'm saying.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
creative people.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not like a unique Virginia sound. It's more
Yeah.
so like just dope people that do
Right.
like a multitude of different things, and we
Right,
take
right.
inspiration from other things, and they'll make it their own, but it's not necessarily ours.
That's kind of true, but I also beg to differ a little bit just because during the time period when Missy, Timbaland, and Pharrell was hot,
Yeah.
all that shit kind of sounded the same in the early 2000s. Like they kind of dominated it when it comes to production, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt like they might not, in the terms of the music world, they might not have coined it like a VA sound. But long story short, they're all from VA and they're all like you know a Missy Elliott, 90s Missy Elliott, Timbaland, Pharrell, Neptune song when you hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
So like that could be, you know, coincide with the VA sound almost like, oh, Pharrell
It's
is
not,
the VA
but
sound.
it's not ours. You gotta remember, they was all kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like they was going
yeah.
to each other's houses in high school and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's like a clique of friends.
Yeah.
But it doesn't describe the whole state
That's
or
true.
like the whole
That's
city.
true. I will have to give Virginia one thing. I will have to say that we do have is very talented musicians all the time.
For sure.
Like some of the GOATs are from Virginia. If you didn't know, Chris Brown, Trey
Talk about
Songz,
it.
Pharrell, the Neptunes, as in Pharrell, Chad, Hugo, Shaq, and them, and then who else?
Pusha T.
Pusha T,
Malice.
Right.
Malice, Kali Uchis is from
know what I'm
there. I think fucking.
I didn't know Cali Uchis is from
Yeah,
there.
Kali
That's crazy.
Uchis is from Virginia.
I'm
There's
ashamed to
just a
say.
lot of talented artists from Virginia. And then not only that, but VA also breeds a lot of athletes.
For sure.
And you know, like they got Allen Iverson, Michael Vick,
Yep.
like all these people like Moses Malone and shit was like, so all these talented athletes as well.
Okay.
So I would have to say like Virginia is not slept on, I feel like.
No.
But like no one wants to visit Virginia. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like in a weird space where it's like we have like the clientele.
Yeah.
Like we can be like, oh,
Right.
Virginia, you know, Pharrell's from here, Allen Iverson's from here, Michael
Yeah.
Vick, blah blah blah, it's from Virginia. But like, no one's gonna move to Virginia to try to make it. We just kind of have those people that were like bred in Virginia,
That just
Virginia
were
made.
dope.
Yeah, that's just cool and like you know. Yeah.
Talk about your POV, bro.
Okay, so for me, being from the county, Brunswick County, Lawrenceville, Virginia, that's the town. Probably about like just 1,000 people there, man.
That's crazy. Small city.
Yeah,
small
it's like
town.
one of those like real county. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like when y'all talk about Richmond, like bro, we used to dream of just being in Richmond. To
See, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep
like,
it a stack, bro. What fast food restaurants y'all had?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It was probably 3 stores, 3 restaurants in the county. Let me see.
Oh my
it was
God.
Chinese store. We don't have a McDonald's no more. That's
No?
good. Nah. And
You can't get a
Hardee's.
McDouble on a
Bro,
late
my
night?
man
Gone.
said there's not a
Gone.
McDonald's anymore. What the?
Yeah, that used to be one of the go-to spots. Now, obviously, if
Of
you
course,
lived
it's
in,
Mickey D's.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah. But-
Now, obviously, if you lived in like in the middle, you could go to South Hill, Virginia. They got a lot more restaurants, but just being in that county, Chinese food, Pinos, and
So
What?
In a gas
Pino's.
station. It's a Pino. It's like a.
It's
like
pizza. That
it's a
shit
pizza
goated,
store.
bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know Pino's?
I ain't never had no
Okay.
Pino's,
And there's some
bro.
Pino's in Richmond, bro.
So
Wow.
I think in Richmond they all might have like a Marinos or
Okay.
something else similar to.
I've been to
they had
Geno's.
Geno's. They
Yeah,
had
Geno's.
Geno's.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been to Geno's.
I think that might be the legit version.
Yeah, they
of what
brothers.
we
You know,
got.
Pino's and Geno's are brothers, bro.
But what I will say is that it's a lot of heart in the county. I say that, man. Just a lot of grind and trying to figure it out. But it's not a lot in the county, so it's hard to figure out. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to get up out of there. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what- yeah.
So how would you say, like, growing up in a very small town, you said 1,000 people. So it's literally like one of those towns, like in like TV shows where like everyone knows each other, like
Everybody
literally.
related. Everybody
Like,
cousins
because
out
isn't
there doing-
that's a county you said there's like only one high school, right? In the whole
Yeah,
county.
yeah. Brunswick County High School. Yeah.
Like everyone goes to that same high school, so you
Yeah.
literally know everyone in the county, basically.
Yeah, bro. Pretty much everybody was my family.
So
Bro,
how
my
was
mama
that?
went there.
You said what?
My mama
that's how
went
we
there.
found out.
That's
he was
crazy.
cousin.
Oh yeah, wait. Tell that quick story real quick, cause
Oh.
that's bad funny.
That story is gonna play in later.
Okay,
We're
all right,
actually
all
gonna talk
right.
about
But
that later.
anyway, so like, because I've never, like, we grew up in Chesterfield County, which is like a sub county of Richmond. Well, you grew up in Chester.
Okay.
don't
right.
don't tell people where I
All
grew
right,
up.
my fault.
You gotta
Well,
leave that out.
anyways,
Yo, come on, bro.
we from the county,
No,
bro.
I'm
We
playing.
from the county, bro. So like it wasn't as small, but like it was kind of like you could know of people and could know a majority of people within like
Right,
high
right.
schools and
But
stuff.
his situation
But his is
different.
very different.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered what it would be like to literally pretty much know everyone like growing up. Cause like even like this is a weird aspect.
That's
Like drama wise, like imagine like dating in that high school, like so and so like
Yo, it's
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Like
Nah,
you're
for
like,
real.
bro, you can't date her. So and so dated him. Blah blah blah. Like you can't get caught anywhere. Like in that small town, you probably like you can't sneak anywhere or something. Someone knows something, bro.
Yeah, that's
You
wild.
know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
and there's only but so many places and shit like to go to chill. Like there's probably like one little shopping
Bro, we
area.
used to.
That's
bro,
actually
we used to.
Like you
crazy.
dead ass, no sneaky links, bro.
No, but like
sneaky
when you
links,
really
no nothing.
thinking about dating, that's crazy.
That's what I'm
Because I don't
saying.
know about y'all homies, but my homies was thirsty.
Yeah.
So like they was applying pressure on everything. But like,
Yeah.
but it got to the point where it's like, yo, what girls are still available?
Yeah.
So then you had to start looking at other high schools. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
You
yeah,
only
yeah.
had one, my brother.
Here's the thing, man. The counties, like the rival counties, or I won't even say rival counties. I guess that was like more of a football thing. Like the neighboring counties, like Emporia, South Hill, like they all kind of intertwined.
That's
I'm
a
not gonna
drive,
speak
though.
Too much. It is a drive. You need a car in the county. Like
Yeah,
you
of
need,
course.
ain't no Ubers, none
Yeah.
of that. So
Yeah.
you need a car or you walking. So it's tough for it, man. So you'll be surprised at like how much effort goes into even trying to get something off. Like as far as a sneaky link or something like that in the county, like just little stuff like growing, you just be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
She
I
gotta
know
love
everybody
you.
else was.
That shit.
It was easier for everybody else in other places until you start visiting them. you
Yeah.
know? Like if I go to the county right now, I can't get no Uber.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't call no Uber.
So growing up in a very small city and stuff like that, how did you find, or when did you find like your knack for acting, or like what pushed you to get out of something? Like, do you think that being around the same people, seeing the same faces, seeing the same things, being in that small of a town motivated you more to like kind of get out, or like, because I know very much so, like being in a small town like that, people can get very attached to it and not want to leave also.
I guess to sum it all up, I want to say that I guess a lot of pain influenced like decisions I was making and trying to find ways to escape the county.
Yeah.
Like the first goal was get out of here. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Get out of these woods, get out of these trees, go find something else.
Right.
And then I guess also being cooped in the house, being from the county, I used to just love like watching movies, but also being in the county, you're limited to just being around a lot of people. And it can kind of drive you crazy sometimes if you isolate it. So the only thing I could really cope with or just really find a peace of mind was the arts. And then, you know, on top of that, and, you know, dealing with the pain you growing up with and stuff like that, just being misunderstood as a kid, it kind of just all ran into each other. And I was like, yo, I need to be an actor. It wasn't like I want to do acting. It was like I need to be an actor. You know? So
So you need, like, do you have a defining moment where you literally, like, it kind of had a Topeka moment where you were like, this is what I need to be doing, which is acting? Like, do you have a specific story at all? Or did you kind of just collectively gather that thought and be like, I think acting is what I am meant to be doing?
I don't really know because there's a lot of fear in going into acting So I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna say that there was any defining moment that made me feel like I should stay on it. Okay, actually, I take that back. When I won Best Actor award in Richmond, that was like
I remember that.
That
Okay.
was like my boom. Like that's your rites of passage.
Felt like
right
you won the
there.
Oscar, bro.
Yeah,
He
right.
still got that trophy.
That's what was hard, bro.
My man kissed the trophy before every audition he do, bro. I be seeing it, bro.
Bro, yeah.
Nah.
No, I mean, I think I let my mom keep that at the house, but I carried that like the little fake Oscar that my aunt got me.
Yeah.
So I carried that around with me too. But yeah, I think it was that moment right there where it was just like, oh, these things are possible because I remember, it might get a little off task, but I remember them not wanting to go past my audition. Like my audition was terrible. Audition was terrible. Like nobody really wanted me on their team. And then this guy sees my picture and he was like, yo, we want to work with him. And randomly, we just put something together. Then they called me saying, yo, you got nominated for Best Actor. They was like, so you got to come. Because they know me. I'm ducking like every show. They're like, you got to come watch it in the theater. And then I get there. And then next thing you know, we watched all the films and, I won Best Actor. So for me, it just showed me like the work, but also just being ready for the chances.
Word.
So
kind of similar to the question you was asking, I wanted to ask all three of us. When did the idea first hit your head that, yo, I got to get out? I got to leave.
You want to start? You can start.
Word. So I would say for me, bro, it's like, it's always kind of been there. As a kid, you grow up watching movies and TV shows, and you see niggas in paradise. You're seeing palm trees. You're seeing Drake and Josh, and they go to Hollywood, and it just look lit. You know what I'm saying? It's summertime all year round.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you see the big city, the bright lights, New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Times Square. You see it on TV.
That will sell you. Yeah.
TV makes it look amazing.
Of course.
So I'm like, yo, I got to get out there. But this is me as a kid. I wasn't like seriously getting my stuff in order, but I'm just like, yo, I want to be there one day. I didn't really take it serious until like high school was coming into an end. Because how I always looked at college was like, I'm going to be here for like a year. Then I'm going to drop out because I'm going to have my YouTube going to take off. You know what I'm saying? Or like my Instagram is going to blow. My skits are going to pop. And then I'm going to drop out after like a year or two. And I'm going to move to LA or I'm going to move to New York. So like that's when I was taking it serious. Obviously, it didn't happen for me like that. But literally every spring break in college, I was going to New York. Freshman year, I went to New York. Sophomore year, I went to New York. Junior year, I went to LA actually for spring break.
Okay.
And then senior year, I went to New York. And so it was like, yo, I was seeing everybody go to Miami, and I'm like, horse, I'm going to New York, and I'm working on my
My
career.
man said horse.
Yo, I'm like, I'm about to go work on my career, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go securities networks.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? And so senior year, when we went, it was special because I was doing a play senior year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I'm about to get in my acting bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do a play. And guess who I meet in the play? I don't meet you in the play.
Right.
But we decide to go. We both go to the auditions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know you love to tell the story. Go ahead, tell the story.
Yeah,
Tell the story to
alright,
the people,
so-
bro.
Man,
So it was funny, man, because I can never forget this moment. I came back from Atlanta. We was doing some Netflix. I was doing some extra work. Came back from Atlanta. I didn't go to class. If you go to ODU, you know where BAL is at. You know what I'm saying? If you know where BAL is, I say, I'm gonna skip class. I told my homie Hamp, I said, yo, bro, just roll with me, bro. I'm about to go to the theater. Something calling me there. He's like, you just want to go over there? I was like, yeah, we just gonna go over there. Lo and behold, I see Lo and Ken. You know, and they was just like, oh, you know, we all taking like little jokes at each other, like, oh, Hollywood, little stuff like that, man. And then they was just telling me like, there's like, yo, there's this play going on. These auditions are going on. There's like, you need to pull up if you think you really want to be an actor.
This man was gonna fold. I ain't gonna lie. This man won't gonna go, bro.
I was not
bro.
not gonna go, bro, because not only, I mean, yeah, I wanted to be a great actor, but it was the fear to work. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a fear to work. Like if I do get casted, what's next? Do I still have some of these limited moments? But then it was interesting because we all go there and I drag Hamp along to get him to audition because he didn't even want to do it.
Yo, he didn't.
He didn't even want to do it.
He did it. Guess what happens? We all get a part.
Bro, we all get
a part in this play.
Get a part in the play?
Yeah, so like we going to rehearsal, we're bonding, it's going really good. This the homie, you know what I'm saying? We're chopping it up. Like they're inviting me to places and stuff like that. Like we're friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's a vibe. So spring break starts coming up, it's like in March. So like we're planning our trip and he's asking me, he's like, yo, what you getting into for spring break?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, me and the homies are about to go to New York as always. We're just gonna go out there, grind, film some music videos and do the whole nine. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna think about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll get back to you. Right? Fast forward, he gets back to me and he's like, yo, I actually want to go. So we're like, bet. We're gonna lock you in on this trip. Airbnb, just send me your bread. We gotta get the bus tickets. You know what I'm saying? We out.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So the day before the trip, this man circled back. This man's like, yo, go ahead.
So my mom, my mom.
I'm alley-ooping it
My
right
mom,
now.
and I'm gonna slam it
What's
home. I'm bringing it home.
happening?
My mom being the person that she is, she was like, "Yo, Jay, who you going with on this trip?"
Word.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Yo, actually, I'm going with Lil Ken." Obviously she don't know him, so I'm just listing names, and she's like, "Okay." And then I was like, "But wait, his mom's from here," and she was like, "What's her name?" And then you tell me your mom's name. I believe I don't want to give you mom government.
Word, we ain't doing that.
Yeah. We're gonna censor
ain't
that.
doing that.
And lo and behold, we found out we're cousins just like that. She's like, Jay, that's your damn. This is exactly her word. She said, Jay, that's your damn cousin. And I'm like, word. But as she told me, and then figuring out, Lo text me like, yo, we fam. So we dragged it the whole week in New York.
But
So
that's mad funny that y'all were bonding like that, like during the play or like for the play without even knowing that you guys are cousins.
we was going on this trip together.
And then y'all go on a trip and find out that y'all are blood.
Crazy. So like literally, like he
Like,
said, the
that's
whole
so
trip
weird,
we're
bro.
dragging
Dragging
it.
it.
That's
We're
just mad
dragging
funny.
it. You know what I'm saying? So like we go on this
cousin.
trip. We go on this trip, man. We're getting work done. We go to Vice. We're sitting in the audience at Vice. We're shooting music videos. Hot Wheels music videos out now on YouTube. Bonnet Boys, go stream it right now. You know what I'm saying? We're filming music videos. We're getting work done. You know what I'm saying? And the trip was just magical. So after the trip, I'm like, yo, this is real for me, bro. Like, I've always been thinking about moving. You know what I'm saying? I just came from New York. New York was like OD. We were meeting people on the street. We were getting like business connects on the street. We were meeting people in the deli, just talking about life. So I'm like, yo, this is dope. I want this for my life every single day. So I'm like, how can I move out of here? I don't care if it's LA or New York. Even though New York was great, I just need to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, yo, college is about to end in a few months. Let's get it in motion.
Right.
I'll pass it to you.
So that's how you moved to New York. You was like,
That's not how. That's not the end of the
well,
story.
then not how, but that's what made you want to move to New York. That story.
Officially, yeah.
Basically, you found out that.
I mean, it was always there before though.
I
You're
was
like,
the key.
fuck New
I
York.
was the
Wait,
key.
that's my cousin.
It was always there. It was just that trip was so powerful, and college was about to end at that point. Where it's
Yeah.
like now I actually need to
You
do.
like, you gotta get your life together.
I gotta put in the actionable steps to make this happen
Right.
rather than just dream it. You feel
Right.
me?
Yeah.
All
One
right.
thing about Lo, I hate to cut you off, but he was working.
Trying
He
to.
was working, bro. Like he
That man was out here.
deserved to be in New York the time he got
Yeah.
out there.
Man was
how
out
much
here
he was
walking
working.
around with the business cards, like, yo, I'm Jordan Shields.
Chill.
He was like, please, bro. I'm out here. I'm a college student, bro. Just know you gonna be knowing my name in a couple years. Man.
Word.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling.
Yeah, that's how you gotta be sometimes, bro.
But you at
gotta be
VCU,
confident. So
or was it then, or was it before then? Like when did you know?
when I realized I wanted to go to New York,
When did you realize, and then when did you actually start taking actionable steps?
so this goes back to our last episode when I like was discovering fashion in high school. I didn't know what I was gonna do at all because all I was thinking about was basketball, like throughout my whole life. But then once I discovered fashion and stuff like that, and being like, all right, I need to start thinking about college as a like sophomore, junior in high school. I'm like, I need to start thinking about college, what I'm gonna do for my career, blase, blase, blase. So I was like, fashion. And then like in Tumblr, when you on Tumblr and you into fashion, all the pictures you see of people fly as shit is in
Word.
New York.
Glenn Brown, Ian Connor.
And mind you, I've never visited New York as much as Lo did, like even in college and stuff like that. Like
Get your
I probably
money up,
been
bro,
to New
boy.
York. Bro,
What?
I never traveled that much.
Take the
fair.
Chinese bus for like 30 beans.
But I'm saying like I never traveled that
Nah,
much.
I'm
I
playing.
even have family up here. I always take the Chinese bus, man.
That
Still
was
to this day.
My
But
trip with them was my first time going to New York ever.
yeah, that's crazy. And now you're here. But
that's crazy.
but like basically I had visited New York one time, like my sophomore year. I visited my cousin that lives up here for like a weekend or like I think a whole summer for like a majority of time. But I didn't want to move to New York at that time. I just was in New York visiting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I wanted to go, and I made a fucking like concrete plan that I was gonna move to New York. Like when I was like 18 and I realized I got into VCU for fashion, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go to school, graduate fashion, and then move to New York right after I graduate. Like right after I graduate, I'm gonna move in. I'm gonna ask one of my cousins if I can like move in with him and just like live there and freeload there basically for a little bit until I get my shit straight, get my own apartment, get my own job, all this shit. So long story short, I did exactly that. Like I basically had like a plan from when I was a senior, and I realized I was getting into VCU for fashion. I had a plan that I'm gonna graduate and move to New York, and that's what I did.
Why did you pick New York though? Because I know you like LA a lot, so why didn't you choose that one?
So, well, I think New York for me was just more of a reasonable and more of an accessible move.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Virginia, we're from Virginia, so it was just easier to get. One, because it's closer. So family-wise, I still don't want to be that far from my family. LA is a big-ass commitment. I have commitment issues, as we all know, bro. So I'm like, I don't want to be that far away from my family on a whole nother coast, like, also, like, that's just a lot of work. I had no connections for real out there. Here, at least I had like family that I could move in with. It's like 8 hours where I could take a bus. LA, I'd have to like fucking take a flight and all that shit. And it'd be like too much. Also, I have yet to this day really visited LA, bro. And I still love LA. I love LA, and I love the idea of LA, and I feel like I would vibe in LA, but I visited probably for like 1 day before, like just passing through, but never actually visited.
Wow.
But New York, I just decided, like, I was just like, yeah, I mean, working in fashion or graduating in fashion, like, New York is the spot to be, of course. So I was just like, I gotta move to New York. It just made more sense. And I was just like, if I want to be a celebrity stylist, if I want to be a creative director, if I want to be audit, blase for this, I gotta move to New York. And me being so indecisive, I was even planning further out of what I wanted to do, because I'm always going back and forth whether I want to be in fashion or do like showbiz or entertainment or some shit like that, always. So I was even looking up like improv theaters to like take classes at, and then start doing comedy, and like I had a whole plan to try to get on SNL. I had all this shit. I was like, yo, I'm going to New York and do all this shit.
You on SNL to be dope though.
Yeah. I was just like, bro, like, I'm going to go to the same theater that Amy Poehler and all these people went. I'm going to take these classes. Then I'm going to be solidified. I'm going to, like, take this path, blase. So I had, like, basically my life, like, outlined in New York.
Y'all
Like-
really had plans.
Yo.
Well, it wasn't a concrete plan. I feel like I did have the plan to be like, I'm going to graduate and move to New York, and I did it. So, like, but that's just, like, a very, like, loose plan. It wasn't, like, concrete bullet point plan.
Nah, that's a plan.
But it's
I mean,
That's
yeah.
a plan.
That's like one of the only plans I ever stuck to in my life.
So back to the story, right?
My man got that story.
Word. Back to the story. You know what I'm saying? So after the spring break trip, I come back, I'm motivated. So I'm like, all right, I finished my website. I finished like my resume, my reel and all this stuff. I'm doing all this and I'm sending it out to the people that I met. I'm emailing people. And I just remember being on Twitter one day in my room, in my dorm room. And I seen this dude, he had posted something about Complex internships, and Complex had retweeted it. Some random dude. And he worked at Complex. So I followed him. I clicked it. I'm like, yo, I gotta do this. So I go back over my website and I get it tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I gotta apply. So then they had a portion in the application where they're like, send a creative thing, some creative thing on why you deserve to be here.
Like a project.
Yeah, so you can make a video, you can make a zine, you can make a fucking slideshow, you can make whatever you want to do.
You can make a mixtape.
Word, you can make anything, but show us why you deserve to be in this, because this is highly competitive. This is the first year we're gonna be paying our interns, and we have a whole program set up. So I'm like, yo, I gotta.
They were gonna be paying the interns.
Yeah, before it was free.
Damn.
Yeah, so like, yo, I couldn't do no free internship. Like, I gotta make some money.
Why I thought you got it was free. All you got
no.
to pay.
No, sir. No, we got some bread.
I mean, I would expect more. Expect more from Complex.
So, I'm like, all right, bet, boom. So I get the idea. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do a skit. This skit gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? So I link up with Ken. I'm like, yo, Ken, help me shoot this skit. We start shooting a few scenes. I'm like, yo, this is terrible. Can't do it. Completely scrapped it. Can't do it. I went back to basics, bro. I took my camera. I went to the car. I set the camera on the dash, and I just spoke. I just spoke about who I am and why I deserve it, straight up.
Yeah.
I was just naming out all the things that I did, because senior year I did a lot of just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I spoke on everything I did. I had B-roll showing of all the things I did as I was saying it. You know, I added my sense of humor in there. And bro, I got it. I ain't gonna lie, I shouldn't have got it from that video. When I look back at the video now, it's so cringe. I'm like, how did I get it? No, for real though. How did I get it? But that's just God, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. I applied for both the New York and the LA one. I'm like, I'm gonna let that decide where I go. If I get the LA one, I'm gonna go. If I get the New York one, I'm gonna go. I don't know how they pick it.
Okay.
I ended up getting a New York one. I assume because I'm closer to New York.
Yeah.
That's why they gave it to me. But I ended up getting the New York one and not the LA one. So I'm like, there it is. I'm going to New York June 1st. I graduated in May. So I'm like, this is a
Yeah.
crazy transition.
You had it lined up basically from when did you find out that you got accepted in the internship though?
So we went to New York in March for spring break. I would say like that following month.
So
April.
like April, you were like, damn, it's real. Moving to New York.
I went through
That's gas.
I went through a few. I went through like 3 different interviews. I kept it very low key. I didn't really tell anybody besides my family. You know what I'm saying? And then we secured it, and it was just moving fast. And it's just so crazy because like I'm seeing the people around me, and they don't know what's gonna happen after college. And it's like I had a sense of knowing, and I was super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to go through that that fear, like what's gonna happen next.
sure.
And so it was really crazy. It happened really fast for me, but that's how New York secured itself. I'll let you take it away.
Man, well, I think, it's funny. I think you know a little bit about the story. Before I lock in New York, I'm almost probably headed to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is, before the car accident. You know what I'm saying, that we had right before graduation. Got into a car accident, set my plans back.
Damn.
And I thought those were signs that tell me to go to Atlanta, but I always wanted to go to New York. I think I locked in New York in my heart when I was like a kid. Like I always talked about New York. I don't know if that's a county thing because we never got to see it, but I always talked about New York. I always wanted to go. I knew when I visited with y'all the first time in 2019 that I was like, I got to be out here. I got to be out here. But career-wise, I was thinking that Atlanta would do me so much better for, being a black artist, being in the film.
Yeah.
But I chose New York because of the grind and the grit out here. Like, it's a grind everywhere, but it's New York.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
New York
saying?
is
So
a
I
different
wanted
breed.
I wanted to show up and show out. You know what I'm saying, in a sense. But getting here was interesting because Lo knows this story too. I'm in Maryland. COVID happens. I'm getting ready to do my first Sundance Film Festival ever. Got casted for a lead. So I was like, maybe New York is not the move right away. Maybe let's try DC, Maryland.
Right.
Soon as we're getting ready to film, COVID happens, the world shuts down. I'm stuck in a terrible lease in Maryland. Like just signed a lease and now I don't even have a job to pay it.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So
Man, down bad. That's ass.
yeah, and like, bro, I'm talking like they put a whole lawsuit in.
Whoa.
Yeah, like it was 10 bands or whatever.
Damn.
And then they were doing little petty stuff that was trying to keep me from getting out of my lease. Like they made it hell for me. Like I'm talking about like not fixing the toilet. Like, it was a scene. But I stayed down, stayed grounded, and then lo and behold, Lo hits me randomly and was like, yo, I need some roommates to move out here to New York.
I did not expect you to come. I just put that in the chat just so like I could X that off. Like I reached out to them, but like I already knew in my head.
Sweating. Hold on.
I already knew in my head
Man,
when
nervous.
I put that out there,
Right.
like niggas wasn't gonna respond to it, or niggas was gonna
That's
just be
crazy.
like, they was just gonna, wave
No,
it off.
I think. Nah, I don't know. It's crazy because I don't really get into the details on how it happened, but just know I got a blessing that it was able to allow me to wipe that shit away. I stayed down. I was persistent with my emails and talking to my the people in the leasing office. But my cousin came through and blessed me, and the next thing you know, I'm able to transfer my job out to New York. I'm able to knock
so
out
that-
all my lawsuit shit. And
That's
now
fire.
on to the next level. Didn't still know how I was going to do it because Lo and them don't really know that my job was never really secure out here. But hey, man, I've been moving on faith my whole life. So it was like,
Facts.
let's just apply that pressure.
Leap of
and-
faith, bro.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
let's-
fan.
Yeah,
You know about that.
Hey man, like, this guy right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what it came down to, man. It was taking that leap of faith. But I think it's crazy how like the setbacks can have a way of propelling you forward because who would have thought I would have moved to New York like in the midst of the pandemic.
Right.
Like in the midst of the pandemic, I came out here.
Yeah, which is crazy because like that was like kind of a scary time. It was easing up, but that was kind of a scary time to move to New York. But it was also a good time because one, no one was moving to New York.
Right.
No one wanted to, and the prices were better. Like
Yeah.
there was better openings and stuff like that. It was just on whether or not people had the guts enough to be like, do I want to be in the fucking epicenter of the pandemic right now?
Yeah, because you could lose your job at any moment.
Yeah, exactly. But like you did it and you still here. So kudos to you, bro. That's
appreciate
gangster,
it.
bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
For sure, congrats, bro, for being out here, you know what I'm saying, thugging it out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like now let's talk to the people and let's
Yeah.
really try to provide some advice, because I know we all have homies who talked about
For
it,
sure.
Yeah.
who are definitely still on that tip. I think a big thing is it stays talk, and like people will talk about it, but they just leave it at talk.
Right.
And at some point, you have to take those actionable steps. Now, don't get it twisted with my story. I was super blessed, you know what I'm saying? Things happened for me, you know, the way that, like a perfect way. It happened, it unfolded great. But I was willing to do whatever. When I went to LA, I went to the Warner Bros. Studios. So we're like seeing their sound stages. We're seeing like where they shoot Big Bang Theory and all this different stuff. And like I fell in love with it. I was like, yo, I gotta end up either here in New York, and I'm willing to do whatever. I started looking up like janitorial jobs at Warner Bros.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, I just need to be in the building.
Yeah.
Y'all let me in the building. If I can be a
Still trying to be
janitor,
on some Goodwill Hunting shit.
Facts.
nah, for sure. Yo, if
You gotta have that mentality.
if I could be mopping floors in one of these sound stages, I know myself.
Right.
I know myself. If I'm
Yeah.
in that building, I can meet this person,
He's
this
like-
person. I can network, tell them what I do, leverage what I do,
That's
and
facts.
end up in a different position.
That's facts.
So,
That's so
in
facts.
my mind, at that point, I'm like, yo, I'm going to move. I don't know if I'm going to be video editing. I don't know if I'm going to be mopping somebody's bathroom. But I'm going to do something in this place. And that's where my mindset was at. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you don't want to struggle, but I think we kind of got to get past that. Struggling is a part of like being a young adult.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just part of the grind. You know what I'm
Part of
saying?
the grind.
Yeah.
You got to pay your dues. You're not just going to be rich like from
Yeah.
the jump. You got to pay your dues.
So I will have to say, really quick, the way I moved to New York, I moved around the same exact time Lo did, but my story is kind of different. I did have that plan that I was gonna graduate and move to New York, but I did take that leap of faith, bro, because I graduated in May, and then one day I just was like hitting up my cousin, and I was like, yo, I want to move to New York. Can I stay with you for a little bit till I find a job? I had no job, nothing lined up. I was just like, yo, I'm gonna move to New York. I'm gonna sleep on your couch, sleep on whatever extra room you
Grind.
have. Yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna come to New York and I'm gonna go out here and network, go to hell of events, pass out business cards, do this, try to get a job, try to meet people, try to do this. And that's exactly how I did it, which is crazy because it's like, I literally bought a one-way ticket to New York with two
love that.
suitcases, bro.
I love that,
Two
yo.
suitcases, a random
the
day.
grind, bro.
I didn't like pick a day. Like I didn't pick a day and mark it off of my calendar. Like this is when I move. I did ask, just remember from what I
That's
remember.
fire.
Yeah, from what I remember, I was just like, today's the day. I'm gonna go to New York.
And how old are you?
I love that.
And I was 22. I just graduated college, so I was just like, yeah, I was just like, I got to do it. So I literally took a leap of faith, bought a one-way bus ticket, got there. My cousin met me as soon as I got off the bus. I arrived like 11 o'clock at night or some shit. My cousin met me, walked me to the apartment where I was gonna stay at. I ended up staying at for like 3 months. But like as soon as I got there, it was nighttime, and I was just like, damn. It was surreal for me because like even when I was on the bus, everything didn't really hit me because I was leaving. Like I was leaving Richmond. I was dead ass leaving. I bought a bus ticket. It didn't really hit me till like the bus, like a little bit after the bus left, and I was just like looking out like, damn, this is like the last time I'll be actually living in Richmond, which is crazy.
Bro.
So basically, long story short, I moved on the limb. As soon as the next day when I moved here, I was just like, gotta find a job. I was on LinkedIn. I was online going crazy. I was going to events.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was on Indeed. I was looking up events and styling events and all this shit in New York, whatever had to offer. I was going to parties, handing out business cards, talking
Right.
to whoever I could. Long and behold, within like the first month, I was able to secure a job, bro. So I was able to secure a job at Net-a-Porter being
God.
a styling assistant.
God.
Yeah, God did. No one
Yo.
believed, but God did.
And here's the thing.
And I got my job in July. I moved here in June, got it the next month in July, and been here ever since, bro.
And to
Like,
piggyback off your story, with my situation, it was an internship, so it only lasted 3 months. It was going to end in August.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't know what was going to happen after August, if I was going to end up getting a job or
Yeah.
if it was just going
It
to
was-
fall off.
Yeah, facts.
Granted, I ended up getting a job, which is a crazy story in itself. I'll get into that in another episode.
Right.
But like, whether what am I saying? Whether people are in your situation,
Yeah.
my situation, or even Vontae's situation, the crazy thing is, we were young, right?
Yeah.
22, I was 21. When you came out here, how old were you?
Man, I had to be 23.
23. Yo, if we fell on our face, if we failed, You could always just move back to Virginia.
You could.
You could always
move
go
back. You have your
home.
peoples.
But-
And it's more common nowadays as a millennial to stay with your parents for as long as possible. And that's true.
But I think people get so in their head about that, and it's like you don't even think that like, yo, if it fails, you can always just go back.
Yeah.
Like just try it. I feel like we're young now.
Right.
Try stuff.
Right.
Like
Just
move
fucking try
across the globe and just live somewhere for 3 months and just do it. You can afford to do it now
Right.
versus when you have a family
Right.
versus when you're 30 and
Yeah.
you got all these
Right.
obligations.
Yeah,
And can I
exactly,
can I chime in?
Go.
Yeah, of course.
Shoot, I'm losing it now. But no, it's also what do you find as failure? You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, what do you define as failure when you move to another place? Because let's be honest, man, it's a lot of jobs that you can still get. You just choosing not to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Humble yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the beautiful part about when I wanted to move to New York was that I was like, bro, it's people out here hustling. They don't care what they doing. They
Right.
chasing the dream. Everybody chasing something out here. There's no judgment involved. I think it's judgment, but it's like, bro, it's eat or be eaten.
Right.
You know?
It is. It
So it's like, how do you determine like if you fail? Because like, bro, I could have came out here and what's failing? Like, I technically didn't get like an agent or whatever until like coming into the 3rd year mark of New York. I could have technically failed 2 years ago. I was still, iffy on the rent and all that. So
Yeah.
what is failing?
Yeah, exactly. Like
When you
it
look at it like
depends
that.
on it does depend on if you're comfortable with being a failure or
Yeah.
comfortable with putting yourself in one like risky unknown environments, and like you have to have a gut for it for sure, especially living in New York. But I would have to say that don't let the city and people that tell you how much of a struggle and grind it is scare you from just doing it. Because long story short, for my story, I just bit the fucking bullet and I just did it. I was blessed enough to have someone here that I knew, a connection for me to like stay at like rent free and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was blessed enough for that. But I mean, I still had to come here and fucking grind and still find a job. Granted,
Yeah.
if I didn't find that good job that I was trying to find, I still probably would have just been like, yo, I mean, he's not gonna let me stay here forever. So I would have started applying for just regular job. And I will have to say, bro, like living in New York, you can find places that's affordable and have a part-time job, work like 30 hours a week. Like I've done it before, like after the pandemic, I've had part-time jobs, bro. Like you can do it. It's doable if you have the guts for it, if you still grinding, chasing your dream, like if you know how to manage your money and shit like that, you can live out here.
Manage your
and
money.
You
that
can
part,
live out
man.
here.
Manage your
With-
money.
This is what I want people to know, bro. You can literally live out in New York with a part-time job. You don't need to have a full-time job making crazy enough of money.
Bro, let me tell 'em.
And still have a good lifestyle as long as you manage your money, you know the right people, and you're still on your shit. Don't be out here like at the bottom of the barrel though, just barely skimming by just because you can.
Let me tell him, and
But
I'll let
yeah.
you go.
No, you got it.
My internship, bro, I was making minimum wage, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
I was paying $10.50 a month and for a box, bro.
Yeah.
I was paying $10.50 a month for some small room in some lady's apartment. Bro, I could touch both sides of the wall with my arms like these. You know what I'm saying? We staying on 125th in Harlem, so everything expensive. You know what I'm saying? And we could only work 30 hours a week because
Yeah.
it was an internship.
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, I really had to budget. I never did that in my life for real.
Yeah, you really
I
gotta
really
know.
had to budget.
You gotta be disciplined,
But I
bro.
still made it happen, and I was still able to hang out on weekends sometimes.
Exactly.
It really just comes down to money management. I'll let you have
And
it.
I was gonna say also, we don't want to like lead them astray. Let's talk about because it is difficult to still get into New York. Like you can find your ways, but
Yeah.
to really get into New York, you do have to like still figure out your credit situation. And
Right,
this, that,
yeah.
and the
Absolutely.
third,
It's
because
gonna be hard.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
gonna be
tough,
hard.
but it's ways around that
Yes.
where you can still apply that pressure and get that grind, and then work in the aftermath of all of that.
Facts. I will have to say a great part to doing that. I did this to moving with my boys here. Finesse, bro.
Yeah.
I swear, finesse your way in New
Photoshop.
York. Photoshop,
Photoshop.
whatever they ask. They asking how much you make. They asking for
Photoshop.
for fucking letters of recommendation,
Photoshop.
credit score,
Photo-
Photoshop.
bank statement.
Use
Photoshop.
bank
Yeah.
statement. Use Adobe.
Old commission reports.
Yes.
You know
Photoshop.
how it
Use
is.
Adobe Acrobat cheat code, bro. That shit matches the same
Yo,
font.
then they
everything.
asked for they asked to call your job and you had your homegirl.
Bro, they asked to call, bro. They
I made
asked to
up
call
some
my
bull-
job. I'm like, yo, let me use my friend as my fake boss and tell them like,
Yo.
this how much money. Like finesse, bro. Like
Finesse.
if you really want
Or
to be in New
sublet.
York,
You can sublet and
Yeah.
get past all that stuff.
basically, if
Yeah,
you
that's
really
true.
want to
That's
stay
true.
in New York, you really want to make it happen in New York, you're gonna find a way. You're gonna finesse your way. Just just be smart about it. Don't be stupid and naive about shit. Just make sure you know how to navigate and move. Like, New York is doable. Well, I want people to know in Virginia and all the small cities is like, New York is doable. You just have to have the gut for it. You have to be risky. You have to know how to finesse. You have to know how to meet people and all this shit. But like, if you want to move to New York, bro, the only thing that I think is really stopping some people and most people is themselves. Like, don't scare yourself from doing something that could end up being one of the greatest decisions of your life, you know? It could be a bad decision too, but like, fuck it. At least you tried, like Lo said. At least you gave it a shot. And you can always come back at some moments, like maybe get a job working something where you can transfer. Like, there's always ways you can find your way to be in New York, bro. So like, yeah.
And that's true. And also, like, what's that saying? Like, if you can make it here, you can make it
Anywhere.
Anywhere. But I tell everybody, if you can make it anywhere, you can make it everywhere. So
Facts.
hold that,
That's
though,
a
because
good-
those are
yeah.
going to be those stepping stones that even get you to New York.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you're going to think about where you're from and be like, bro, I'm going to be the one that's going to get put on.
Right.
I'm going to go out here get with this
You gotta be
dog
confident.
mentality and then go
Yeah.
out there. So, hey, just keep that fight in you, man.
Appreciate you guys for watching. Vontae, appreciate you for sending us. We're
Of
definitely
course, my
going to
boy.
have you back in the future.
Appreciate
you know what I'm saying? It is the Work for Hire podcast. We out. Peace.
Peace. 2 up, 2 down, baby.